episode 6 of the NWA Flashback series. We are looking at Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling from the 16th of November, 1985. Dusty Rhodes has had times put him on him by the horsemen, but he's back. He's back in the Carolinas. He's back with Bob Caudle and JJ. What do you know of this time, Daddy, of Crockett Promotions, where Dusty's had his leg broken, but he's back and he's ready for Starrcade?
I only know we've watched. I obviously know this promo. This is one of the few things in this era that I have seen, I have heard, because it's the greatest promo of all time, isn't it? So yeah, I know that he had his leg broken. We saw him in the hospital, saw the interviews. Now he's coming back, the big comeback ahead of building up to Starrcade 85. So yeah, excited to see a little bit more of the kind of context behind it now that I know a little bit more.
Yeah, we watched this in 2 weeks. I think we've missed one. We watched it 2 weeks ago when we saw them. I think we saw him being carried off we saw him stretchered off a plane, didn't we?
Correct.
Just had his leg broken in the Omni. We saw Arn and Tony gloating on TV saying, we've ruined him. We've scared off Dusty Rhodes. Lissy, late 85. How do you think this fares in terms of, like, in long term, the history of pro wrestling? Are we at the peak, or is this like one of the golden eras of it?
Yeah, peak golden era. I mean, honestly, we're coming off the heels of just overall wrestling, right? We're coming off the heels of the first WrestleMania. Can't forget that, right? It's 1985. Cable is in full swing. It's the race to get all of the time slots. So this is a really great time in wrestling, and this really is the golden age. It's the golden era. Dusty's on top, Ric Flair's on top, Hulk Hogan's on top, Andre's on top. The names are endless. There's just so much talent overall. So I'm very excited, as usual, to watch anything from the best year in wrestling.
In the words of Michael Sidgwick, be born earlier. Yeah, we're going to have a look at Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling from November 16, 1985. It's on the network on the Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, 99385. Lissy, you're a fan of the Cock. Give us the spiel for that.
Yes, sir. If you're watching on the Cock, it's under World Championship Wrestling Season 1, Episode 46, November 16th, 1985.
For the 2/3, if not longer, of the audience from the North America. And we're going to click play in 3, 2, 1. And we've got Paul Jones of the Barbarian with David Crockett there for the intro. We were going to skip the intro. However, the intro jingle is that good. We have to watch it.
Okay. It's happening.
Do you know that that's superstar Billy Graham, Daddy? Who Dusty and Hulk Hogan stole their gimmick from.
Yeah, I was going to say he's getting Hulk Hogan vibes here.
Go on, Lissy. That's what got you over.
No, we need it.
Oh, my internet's so bad. Ruined it. A lot more goers. Just thinking, who is watching this from behind going, what is going on right now?
Hi, wrestling fans. Welcome to Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, the most exciting hour in television. This week, the announcement we've been waiting for many weeks now is we're going to find out who the contestants are going to be for the World Heavyweight Championship title match in Starrcade 85. Plus, we're going to be looking at the entire 10 main event card for Starrcade 85. All of that upcoming during this hour. Also, this announcement, fans, the World Television Championship has been held up by the NWA.
Wow.
This due to the fact that Dusty Rhodes did not defend it within the 30-day stipulation period and that time period. So a tournament will be held after Starrcade 85 to determine who the new World's Television Champion will be.
You better hold on just a second, Bob Caudle. I'll listen to you and I'll listen to Crockett and everybody else talking about how they're going to hold a tournament. You better get one thing straight. There's one guy that's got that belt, and that's Arn Anderson. And he is the world's television title champion. He's got the belt. That makes him champion. Anything that you say, anything that says Crockett says, Bob Geigel, or anybody else, it don't count. When a man's got the belt, that makes him the champion, and Arn Anderson is the champion. You hold a tournament, you better get everybody that's in that tournament to come over to Arn's house and grab that belt, and even then you are going to get it. He's got the title. He's going to hang on to the title. And you can take that to Crockett, Geigel, and you can tell that to the people. It's going to stay that way.
All right, fans. Ole Anderson saying that Arn Anderson is the television champion. That will be determined, of course, later by the NWA. Let's go to the ring.
So that's Ole Anderson, the kayfabe older brother of Arn Anderson, claiming credit of the belt. Ole was really underrated. Like, he was one of the original Four Horsemen, but because he was
a Hoffman daddy, he was a tough as fucking bricks. In English terms, he was built like a brick shithouse.
Brick shithouse.
And you didn't want to fuck with Ole. Ole and Gene, the original Minnesota wrecking crew, they would train the guys in the late 70s and the early 80s, and they would basically beat the shit out of them. Don Canoodle became one of the tag champs in like 83, 84. So on record, they beat him up to the point where he could barely walk, but he kept coming back. And that was in the early 80s, that was the test of, did you want to break into the business or not? You have to be crawling on your hands and knees, or we think we've beaten you to a pulp. Oh, it used to be better.
I miss the old ways. Let's bring those back.
The fans absolutely love the Rock and Roll Express here. They were going crazy when they were coming out.
Still can't. I mean, it's a different era, a different audience, I know. But the tassels. You think in my like childhood, I had one of my first wrestling videos was UK Rampage '91. And on there, it was the Rockers beating the Orient Express. Mm-hmm. And the Rockers would have all the tassels on their legs. And you think, and I loved them. I thought they were brilliant. And I'm thinking, if I was like 10 years younger, I'd have been a big Rock and Roll Express fan. I think Shawn Michaels has gone on record and said, yeah, we basically stole everything of their gimmick.
They didn't steal. They modeled themselves off.
We borrowed.
Yes, thank you.
Stole it like he stole people's spots in the WWF, that son of a gun.
You know what? I won't stand for this slander. I will not.
I mean, it's a history book.
Lissy's got your eye on you, and she got and Sean's other eyes on the at a 90-degree angle. But yeah.
I'm all good. There is a big ocean between us. I can slag off Shawn Michaels. She can't hurt me.
Did you see a CM Punk tweet earlier?
What's he saying?
CM Punk tweeted Brett was right about everything.
Yeah, he's really going with Brett these days, huh?
I'm telling you, that double turn is so happening.
It's coming.
Sorry. The tweet was, always remember, Brett was right. And being the fact I've loved CM Punk since 2004, I feel validated. Because he's right and Brett's right.
Thing is, we know the Montreal Screwjob was a work anyway, so.
We've got the Russians here, Ivan Koloff, Nikita Koloff, Crusher Khrushchev. There you go. That's the Repo Man to the left.
The Repo Man.
The Russian Repo Man.
Which is weird because I remember watching the Repo Man in like early 90s and he looked so small compared to the rest of the roster then.
Mm-hmm.
And he's massive.
He was a big man. He was about 280. What are you talking about?
That's what we said about Farouk in the last episode, isn't it?
Yeah, but you think, well, first of all, in the times when we were born, they were actually Demolition, which is another one of my favorite tag teams. So
I never remember. I'm 33, so I never remember Demolition because that's.
No, I remember because of like the old tapes and stuff. But I like when I go back and I'm just like, oh my god, I love Demolition. I loved at that time. You guys know I love tag team wrestling. I can't say enough about it. They had Demolition, they had the Foundation, they had the Rockers, they had the Orient Express. It was such a lit time for tag teaming.
Lit.
Do
you know what that means, Jack?
You can use that one.
So cool.
Listen, JJ's with it. Okay, we like this. Jack,
here's a nature boy.
Yeah, here's Ric Flair.
It's JJ Dillon. God, things could have been so different there. Yeah, and this is the greatest referee of all time. Weird trainers and pants combination. Tommy Young getting a nice slap around the face from Buddy Landell. But yeah, Buddy Landell was being primed for greatness. Him and Flair had a bit of a back and forth in mid-late 85, but he was basically loved the smack. And,
it's amazing, like just the way that he moves is so Ric Flair. You could see how much.
Yeah, he modeled everything on him.
This kind incredible.
But the problem was so Flair, the original Nature Boy was obviously Buddy Rogers, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. You can't kind of steal somebody else's gimmick or nickname unless you're going to be better than them.
Yeah.
And he was never going to be better than Flair, so you're always going to be less than, kind of by default. So it was kind of unfortunate. If it had gone to another territory or gone to somewhere like Mid-South or World Class or maybe Tennessee, fair enough. But yeah, Flair in the Carolinas around this time was God. So it's just timing.
I'm enjoying the pace of this already more than the last episode.
Yeah, 2 hours on the TBS studio seems really long by comparison to this. This is Terry Taylor. This is 85, so they first put in Terry Taylor. Let's try and track this.
Yes, let's do that.
At the gathering at Starrcade, I'm going to be defending this, and it's great news to me, and maybe not so good news to some other people, because I'm not going to say who my opponent is right now, but I just want everybody to know that I am a fighting champion, and I'm going to be in all the way with this belt, and I'm going to defend it for all the people out there who have been behind me 100%.
National champion Terry Taylor, and fans will be right back after this time out.
I love Bob Connell. Lissy's still dancing. It's right. This seems to me like the local news guy who you can always trust.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
In Yorkshire, there's a guy called Harry Gresham who did the local news for 40, 50 years. And he'd go do personal appearances everywhere. But it's a nice, lovely bloke. Look at Tony here, what a hairdo.
What a piece.
I mean, Tony's a shagger anyway, so.
I love that you always call
matches for Starrcade. Let's remind you of those matches once again. The Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight title is vacant, but that night in Starrcade, one man will walk away the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight champion. It'll either be Crusher Khrushchev or young Sam Houston. Also in Starrcade 85, a Mexican death match. That beautiful sombrero of Manny Fernandez, the Raging Bull, one that's been handed down through generations of his family. It'll be put up high on a pole, and two men will do battle for that sombrero in a Mexican death match. The Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez, against Abdullah the Butcher with Paul Jones. Also, the Battle of the Bull Rope has Cowboy Ron Bass takes on Black Bart, but if Bass wins the Bull Rope, he has another Bull Rope match. 5 minutes with James J. Dillon. Also, 2 big tag team matches, as you will see, for the National Tag Team title, the champions. Holy and Arn Anderson defend against the U.S. Tag Team champions, Chief Wahoo McDaniel and Billy Jack Haynes. In a cage for the World Tag Team title, the champions, Ivan and Nikita Koloff, will defend against the former champions, the Rock and Roll Express. This one will be no time limit and no disqualification. And the announcement made last week that really shook a whole world of wrestling fans. In a cage, an I Quit match for the U.S. Heavyweight title. The champion, Tully Blanchard, with Baby Doll, will defend against former champion Magnum TA. 2 cage matches during Starrcade 85. And let's bring in now Jim Crockett, president of Jim Crockett Promotions. The world is awaiting your announcement, Jim.
Thank you very much, Tony, and we have some great matches to announce today. First, Terry Taylor is going to defend his National Heavyweight Championship against Buddy Landell with J.J. Dillon in the corner.
There's no doubt about it. You talk about 2 young
and a first, not only for Starrcade, but in wrestling. We're going to have an Atlanta street fight. Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express are going to take on Jimmy Valiant and Miss Atlanta Lively. Jimmy Valiant has finally found her, and she is going to team up with Jimmy, and Big Mama is going to be in their corner.
Let's take a look right now at Miss Atlanta Lively.
So JJ, this is what we saw 2 weeks ago when the mask came to the aid of Jimmy Valiant against the Midnight Express.
Yep.
And it
wasn't a woman at all.
This would be which is weird given we just watched the November 14th episode from 1987. That's the same guy as the World Heavyweight Champion, Ron Garvin. So 2 years later, from being a woman in a mixed drag tag match, it becomes World Champion.
RuPaul would be proud.
What are we seeing right now? Yeah. So
I'm impressed.
That kiss is giving Jimmy Valiant the shakes. It was a different time in 1985. But yeah, so we saw that, and then can we just go back to the sombrero on a pole match because wow,
can't wait for that one. It's not a sombrero on a pole match.
Right, so the thing is, right, if you go back on shoot interviews with Manny Fernandez, he claims that was always going to be the main event of Starrcade. It was going to be him and Wahoo in this Texas death match with a sombrero and a pole. That was when, yep, and it promised to me that was with the men, not for the world, not Flair and Dusty. Nope, I was lied to.
Who the hell wanted to see that?
Him, clearly.
It's a very important sombrero, Lissy. It's been passed down through generations. I feel like you guys making light of this.
I'm sorry. No one cares. No one wants
but
to
the
see
idea
it.
of in my head, what happened to it? So the sombrero's on a pole. What happens when you get that?
You own the sombrero.
Get on.
Right, okay.
Send help.
Oh, yeah. Paul Jones. Barbarian's obviously going to intercept this, yes.
I mean, what happened when they got Mrs. Bagwell off the pole? You get Mrs. Bagwell.
First of all,
just have her.
Can we pass on our condolences? Judy Bagwell actually passed away this afternoon.
Did she?
Did you know? Did you know this?
I had no idea.
Judy Bagwell passed away this afternoon.
John Jacobs.
I'm sorry, didn't know that.
I thought you did a bit.
We send our condolences.
We do. To Buff and the whole family.
The whole family.
I should have laughed. That's real.
Where are we for time, boys?
I am on 15:53 for 5. We've got Terry Taylor and Sam Houston.
Dead. Yeah, so this is Sam Houston and Terry Taylor. And so Sam Houston, the protege of Dusty Rhodes, big baby face. Let's track it.
It's for the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship. And I'm going to be going out there giving it everything I got. And the biggest problem I think that everybody's going to have with me is underestimating me. They underestimated me when I got my arm broken. Right. I still got in the ring and I wrestled with a broken arm. And I'm back here today. I got jumped in the parking lot and I've got a scar for life right here. And I came back from that, and I'm here to wrestle for the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship coming up. It's one of the most important matches to me in my career. And Mr. Khrushchev, if you do underestimate me, remember one thing. It only takes a 3 count. So if you underestimate me for 3 seconds, the title could change hands right there.
And the man with the title right here, Terry Taylor.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. I tell you, you got to admire the young man's courage because he is fighting from the bottom up, and everything he's ever gotten, he's worked hard for. The same thing goes for me in this title. I've never been given anything, and I've been in there biting and scratching and just hanging on for everything I've got. And it seems like it's paying off because I'm defending this belt all over the country. I'm at the Gathering, and I'm looking forward to going there, and I'm also in St. Louis. Big matches lined up in Checker Dome Auditorium, and I'm looking forward to going there. The people have been behind me 100%, and that's why I have this title. Whenever I get really down,
And I feel like I can't go on. And people calling my name, it's like being at home. It's like being in front of your hometown crowd, because they keep me going and they keep cheering me on, and I feel like I can't let them down, and I keep going. So I have a new maneuver now, and I feel like with that maneuver and the people behind me, the super suplex, I feel like I can beat anybody on any given night. And that goes for Ric Flair, Buddy Landel, Black Bart. Now the job is only half done. There's a lot of guys that are out there thinking they should be the national heavyweight champion. Well, I feel like me having the belt, I have to defend it against everybody to prove that I am the champion. So I'm going out there, I've signed open contracts to wrestle anybody, anytime, and anywhere, all over this great nation of ours for this great belt. So the job is just beginning, but I got to take it day by day, defend this thing every time I can to the best of my ability. I appreciate everybody being behind me as well as you've been doing it. I'm going to hang on to this as long as I can, and I love you all for it very much. Thank you.
So, in case you couldn't tell, he's a babyface.
Yeah, babyfaces cannot cut promos, can they? Jesus Christ.
For the love of God. First of all, he's dressed like he's going to like a prep school. Poor Terry Taylor. They should have just given him, first of all, Terry Taylor, he's so handsome, so good looking, in shape, can wrestle, but like cannot talk. For the love of God, just give the man a manager. Shit.
That's why we got Bobby Heenan as the manager of the Red Rooster. Go!
We saw the super suplex that he pulled off in a little vignette earlier. I'm like, that's like game-changing stuff in 1985, but
right.
Yeah, cannot talk for the love of God. I feel like it's a babyface problem because it's like all the best promos are heels. I mean, we're going to see one of the best babyface promos later on, but a lot of the best promos are heels, aren't they?
He said, I'm going to do my best and I'm going to defend this belt. Thank you.
I got all these people behind me. Oh, fuck.
Please keep cheering for me.
He's lucky the girls were cheering for him. Shit.
Yeah.
What's even weird there, at that point in time, Sam Houston is seen baby doll. How?
Him.
Good looking.
Is he that good looking?
Well, I think when he grew his hair out a little, it got a little bit better. But
the 80s, no one had good hair.
I know, that's true.
What are you drinking, Alyssa?
What do we talk about? Maybe he was funny, guys. Maybe she liked him for that.
Yeah, or maybe.
What are you drinking, Alyssa? What's in your shake?
Just having a little cocktail. Little Casamigos with a lime seltzer. Just here, getting spicy.
Might start calling Q Tom Cruise. Maybe might start calling him cocktail. But yeah, I mean, Sam Houston, he didn't really. I appreciate it. If we've watched previous episodes of Mid-Atlantic and JJ, Magnum and Dusty have really tried to get him over as like he's the next big thing. He's really nice. He's a really nice kid, and yeah.
So you know what's funny that we should think about at this time, right? Actually, great timing for this. 1985. Who is at the top of the women's division around that time? His sister, Rockin' Robin. Jake the Snake is also, such a good technician, in-ring persona, all of that. His brother. Listen, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Sam he didn't get the talking gene. Can't be mad at him.
Listen, if you watched the Dark Side of the Ring episode on the Roberts family,
I may or may not have, yes.
Okay.
But I may or may not have already known all this before that.
I mean, okay. If we want to get people in, it's looking at that family in depth is probably not the.
No, we don't need to look at the family. I'm just saying from a talent perspective.
Yeah.
Not all of your kids are going to have the same level of talent. Like you can't have those sort of expectations, right? So Jake was really good. He's a great talker, great in-ring psychology, all of that. Maybe the best of all time in that state.
Look at Cody compared to Justin. You're not going to follow those shoes. Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. So just Sam Houston is, he's doing his best with what he was given. Let the man live.
Exactly. You think it must be always really weird for wrestling families being like Brett. I think Owen was the youngest of 8.
12.
But I mean, when you get to like 19, maybe like late 80s, as good as Owen was, I don't think Owen was ever going to be as good as Brett.
Well, hold on. But what is good to you, right?
I mean, Brett is the best. Brett is the best.
I love Brett. No, don't get me wrong. I love Brett. Brett is the best.
You love Brett.
No, I love Brett too. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Brett. No, you can. Don't put these rules on me. Yes, you can. Jack, you can. I can.
Pick a side.
No, I won't. I can respect Brett.
If you love Brett, you can't love Shawn.
Yes, you can, because
Shawn ruined that man's career.
No, you didn't. Don't say that.
Vince. Get back to the main point, though. Bret Hart was the greatest in ring, right? But he had zero charisma. Not zero, very little charisma.
No, not zero. He had little charisma.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Owen made you believe it. Like, Owen, you thought he really hated his brother. Like, sure. But different like, Owen skills. Really... It's totally different skills, and they had two different wrestling abilities. Owen was he could do the technical stuff, but he was also a high flyer. He could do everything,
and he could talk.
And he could talk, exactly. Thank you.
Which Brett could.
I love Brett. Don't get me wrong. I love Brett, but Brett just he did his talking in the ring. That's all he needed to do.
He just needs some more than he did.
If you're gonna say right,
shut up.
If Owen had lived, he would have been a bigger star than Brett in the Attitude Era. If Owen had have lived and Brett had have stayed in the WWF, because Owen was the type of guy that would get over. He could talk, high flying, quick pace. Brett,
if Owen had stayed around a bit longer, he'd have had Jericho, Guerrero, Malenko, Angle, Benoit to wrestle with, and he would have found a new lease of life.
He would have had a whole second career.
He would have had a great time.
Yes.
Speaking of lease of life, a man who was lost far too soon in terms of wrestling ability, Magnum TA. Let's track it.
Now, Tully Blanchard isn't feeling too good either, because not only does he have to defend the United States Heavyweight Championship against me, which he stole from me to begin with, but he's got to do it in a steel cage. I quit rules. There is no easy way out here, Tully. You can't get disqualified. You can't get me disqualified. You can't run out because you're going to be chained in. You can't do anything but give me everything you've got in the middle of that ring and prove once and for all you say you're the better man. Well, talk is real cheap. But this will be the battle to end all battles. Everybody out there in the wrestling world knows that I fight you at the drop of the hat, anywhere, any place, anytime. I'll assure you one thing, I never want to kiss that woman of yours again. But what I do want is I get the United States heavyweight title back around my waist. And with an I quit stipulation, with that cord stretched out inside that steel ring, with that microphone live right there for everybody out there to hear. You, my friend, will be the one. You'll be the one to utter the words. You might not have much breath left in that body of yours, but you're going to tell everybody out there that you quit, that you don't want any more of me, and that once and for all, I'm the rightful United States heavyweight champion, the way it's been all along. You've been running, you've been hiding too long, and the hiding stops in the gathering. I quit match, steel cage, United States heavyweight championship on the line. Then it comes back to Magnum TA.
All right, Magnum, let's go back to the ring.
At the bell, Johnny Billy.
So, JJ, when you and I were last here 2 weeks ago, we had, I think Magnum was challenging for the title, and Dudley went, no way, I ain't doing that kind of match. It's too dangerous. And the NWA said, too dangerous, what sanctioning? We missed a week, obviously, but they've obviously come back and said, okay, we're going to give it to you. But you commented at the time saying, it was such a good hook to say, no, it's too bad, it's too dangerous, we're not going to sanction this match. But again, the babyface gets his match in the end.
Yeah. If you're watching that 2 weeks ago, everyone's like, oh my God, I need to see that match. It's going to be so brutal, they won't even let us watch it. And now it's happening. Shock.
How to book a babyface, huh?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, Magnum looks like a badass, you know what I mean? And he talks like a badass. You see Terry Taylor and Sam Houston, and they just look like a couple of kids, and the cameras on them, they look terrified, you know? Yeah, they just don't look. If you run across them in a dark alley, you'd be like, okay, see you later. But if you came across Magnum, you'd be scared, you know.
Wow. Poor Sam Houston. He thinks he looks all right.
It's not scary.
What about if people came across you in a dark alley?
I mean, I'm like 6'2".
You're not 6'2".
I'm 6'2", look.
6'2". Yeah, nothing stood up and makes sense. Right, I played football against him. Ian intimidating for shit. Okay.
Not intimidating, no. But I think if
quite lean. Not much. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm almost 200 now, which is chunky. But that's what, yeah, I put on some weight since the second kid arrived. And I broke my toe, so couldn't really do very much.
Broke your toe, man.
Yeah.
This is real like hard times.
Hard times are brought onto JJ over here.
JJ, as my father would say, you are on a bad shape right now, buddy.
Yeah, I need to shed some pounds. But hey, yeah, I think if someone come across me in a dark alley, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'm not going to go near him. 6'2", got a beard.
Got a beard. That's all it takes.
Bad man over there. Yeah, you know what I mean? You're clean shaven, you're like, yeah, I can nick his phone, it's all right.
JJ will kick your ass if you're watching out there and you come out to him. To be fair, JJ, do you have any problems with you lived in Lissy for a long time. Do you have any problems crossing the border?
I've never had any issues going through the border. No, I mean, there's been a lot of times when I've gone down to
but I was pissed both times and I tried to mug me. But I mean, you know, I was leathered. I could barely walk. So you that's your own fault.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've had a lot of times walking down that little alleyway right across the border.
Oh, the little chute.
Yeah, it's affectionately called Stab Alley around these parts.
Stab Alley, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Lissy, this is like very, very inside.
What the hell are you guys talking about?
You go out drinking in Jib, you live in Spain, you walk through the border at 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, stumbling around. And then when you cross the border and go across the road, there's like an alleyway that then leads you into the sort of main town center of La Linea. And yeah, it's not a particularly nice area of town because it's right by the border. And yeah, it's called Stab Alley. Kind of place that at that time of night you are liable to, I wouldn't say liable, but some people have been mugged. But yeah, I've never had any issues.
But not a big imposing figure such as yourself.
Exactly, yeah. See someone 6'2", they go, I'm gonna look for someone about 5'2", and then Jack comes walking along, and they go, "That's my guy."
I once had some guy try to ask me for €1. Give me €1. Give me €2. You know what? Okay, €2. Can I have 10? Fuck off. He pulled a knife out. You know,
did you grab his wrist?
I am too pissed right now, but A, you're not going to stab me, and B, I'm going home, so fuck off. And I'm so glad I was pissed. Otherwise, I'd have probably shoot myself rather than telling him what's what. Because the first time me and Lorraine went on a date, we were in Molly's. We've been out to Medello's. Then we went to Molly's. And there's a band on display there. And she said, that band, do you like them? They're all right. They're really good. The guy and the girl there, they mugged me last week as I was coming across the border.
Shut up.
And again, I'm not very macho. I've got no qualms. I'm not very I said, do you want me to go beat him up? Or she'll have fucking, do you want me to knock them out? No. Thank God. It's like I can't. Because yeah, the guy and that girl, they mugged me last week. Okay, this is awkward. So no coochie coming my way tonight, right? No. But when I came home the week after in a rugby kit, man, it was on. Woo! Now I'll tell George, and when he's old enough. Yeah.
The rugby kit did the job, huh?
I got good. Look, I got good thighs. I got great legs. Wearing rugby shorts.
Who says
women like a nice pair of thighs?
Actually, it's true because if a guy has super skinny legs, that's such a turn off. It's what is going on?
Oh, I can squat a lot.
You'll see.
JJ is quite.
I've got skinny legs.
JJ, an imposing figure such as yourself, do you squat, bro?
No. I've got skinny legs. What do you want me to say?
JJ, do you remember Jordan Seeley?
Yeah.
Great bloke. Love him to bits. He said to me, I once played football with him when you had the most rugby-looking footballer I've ever seen in my life. Thank you very much.
He was a beanpole, wasn't he, to be fair? So.
Very
Welsh socially spokesman.
Is everyone around you named John or Jack? Just so I can keep up.
That was Jordan, to be fair. But yeah.
Jordan
Seeley. And again, if you listen to Jim Ross's podcast on Gunnar, he always says the true test of a man is if he marries well. If he marries a nice girl, that is he's all right. He's set for, and his wife is a wonderful lady, so he's gonna do all right.
You're getting the nod from Q right now, so I think he agrees with that statement.
It's true. If you are set with a nice woman, it's very hard to go wrong, you think, because she will basically set you on the straight and narrow. JJ, am I right?
You are correct.
Thank you very much.
Shout out Nicole and Lorraine.
And this is Jim Ross. He's saying if he's trying to look after these guys in talent relations, I don't need to bollock them if they go off the rails. Do you know why? Their fucking wife will. It saves me a job. Do you know what? Who are they going to be more annoyed about? Who are they going to get more bollocking from? Me or their missus? It ain't going to be me. It's Charlene at home going, you've been out 4 nights this week. Stay home. Thank you. I can't get up.
I knew it.
Welcome back.
You were in a really cute position for about 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah, Jack, you're muted as well, so.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Can he hear us?
Jack! The perils of zooming.
To Jack. You're muted. There you go.
Jack, we can't hear you.
Is that your English accent? Yeah, we can't hear you, bloody hell. It was more in shock at Paul Jones's attire.
Yeah, you should have.
Woeful promo. Right,
we barely recognized him.
35-40,
you ready?
41-42. Here's Dusty.
Ring now, and Jim Cornette.
Wow. Who doesn't have
something to notice
right now?
Something that I noticed about that is that the fans are just going crazy in the background at the start, almost like they're not even listening, like they're just kind of screaming amongst themselves. And then like Dusty just like sucks them in. And then it's sort of like a quiet hush amongst the crowd where they're like, shit, something's happening here. And then he just slows everything right down.
That's the thing. You said that the pauses. There's no rushing when he goes, I came back for you. No rush. Then he goes, don't let me down. But like he pauses, but he doesn't like rush his lines. Like, I came back here. He says, 2 guys here, John Wayne and the man up in the sky, which is like his dad who died 8 years ago. There's 2 guys who I live by in this life, John Wayne and the man up in the sky, who never saw me become world champion. He became champion in 78, 79, then 81. His dad never saw him become world heavyweight champion.
Well, also beyond that, he plays into the TV audience too, right? When he's like, I'm reaching out and touching you, like he
that
acknowledges that there's people at home
like that.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very 80s.
Dusty was so good. And that's why that promo becoming in infamy, because it was, in terms of baby faces, you've got Stone Cold, you've got Dusty Rhodes. In that era of 80s and 90s, no one else really. Like Hulk was say your prayers, take your vitamins, whatever. He wasn't really, you didn't really feel the same as Dusty had everyone from Texas, Virginia, the Carolinas.
Well, Hulk was for the kids, right?
Well.
Think about that. Hulk was the John Cena is the
Hulk was a marketing machine.
Yeah, marketing machine. Like say your prayers, eat your vitamins, believe in yourself. Like that's really, what you feed to the kids, and they're like, oh, I want to be like Hulk Hogan when I grow up, right? Like Dusty Rhodes was for the common man.
Yeah.
Well, I said my prayers, took my vitamins, and believed in myself, and look at me now. Not much to show for it, but here we are.
You feel all right.
I'm kidding.
I think you're a better person than Hulk Hogan overall.
Oh my God.
I mean, are we still on air right now?
Are we?
Okay.
Where are we? JJ, give us the time, please, sir.
Hulk Hogan is a racist cunt. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. JJ, what time are we on?
42, 9, 10, 11.
Hulk Hogan is a horrible human being, and I won't have anything said to the contrary. Bob, look at that leg drop. Elbow drop. That's all she wrote. Count it!
I think it's what we say, though. Like, I mean, we watch Chris Benoit matches and appreciate those for what they are, even though, did the most horrendous things. You separate the art from the artist, don't you? I can still hear, I am a real American, and get into it, like
for the rights of every man.
That song is on the gym playlist. Like, you have to listen to it. It gets you so much fun.
Can't stand Hulk Hogan as Terry. I can't stand Terry, but
yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like,
you have to separate the person from the wrestler. You do.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in my early teens, Benoit was the guy. Benoit was my boy. It's really weird. It's he murdered. Say it out loud. He murdered his wife and his daughter, his wife and his son. I don't see how you do that without being not all there.
No, I mean, his brain was destroyed from years of smashing it.
To me now, the idea of me killing my partner and my son.
Oh my God.
It's inconceivable. Like, there's no, unless I am completely mentally deranged, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. He was in a dark place and his brain was fried, and that's really all it takes. It's very sad.
Now, yeah, I mean, saying that out loud, that's terrifying.
I think the scarier thing is, like, when you see his character, that he was like the crippler and all of this stuff, it almost adds like another layer onto it as well. You watch it and you're like, oh God.
That's too depressing. Let me track in. Let me have something.
Real serious. You've looked across the ring at me many times. And the last time in the Greensboro Coliseum, when you were carried out just alongside of me after 52 minutes.
Baby doll.
You think about that, because I tell you what, Magnum, it is going to be one hell of a battle. If people don't like violence and don't want to see some violent things happen, don't come. Magnum, you and I are going to go tooth and nail for this. And if you don't think I don't like wearing the gold jewelry and taking baby doll to the fine things and wearing the fine clothes, you're sadly mistaken, because I'm going to do whatever deems necessary in my mind to be sure I walk out of Starrcade with this around my waist. And Bob Caudle, that's all I got to say on that.
Fans, we'll see you next week, and until then, so long for now.
So we've seen Tully basically give more promotion to the I Quit match at Starrcade between him and Magnum. 2 weeks ago, we had him basically saying, I ain't going to do this match. It's too hard. It's too ridiculous. It's too dangerous. It was sanctioned last week. Magnum's ready for it. And now Tully's there going, well, fucking hell. It's been sanctioned. I'm going to fight whatever. I've got to do whatever I've got to do to keep this title, which again puts over the prestige of the title, saying, if it means I'm going to keep this, I will do whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what Flair would basically do every week, saying, to be the man, I've got to keep this. I've got a lifestyle I've got to maintain, which means I'm the champion. And again, you look at the contrast these days in some promotions in 2021, titles mean nothing. You can just swap them.
Yeah.
JJ,
so I was going to say, something that you do notice is that, like, the title means everything. They want to do everything to keep hold of those titles. And yeah, like you say, I mean, I think we've spoken enough about the ludicrousness of swapping a title. And yeah, I mean, I still keep up to date with WWE, even though I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I still can tell you all the champions on a given day or week or month. So, you know, I know the top guys, but I'm not even sure who's US champion right now. Shinsuke?
No.
I have no idea.
Damian Priest. But think about it, like Shinsuke, in the 80s, yeah, that's a good one. In the 80s and 90s, especially growing up when we grew up, like, I didn't even really care that much about the world champion. I really was so into the Intercontinental champion because it meant something. It really meant something. Like, when you think about that, like, growing up, it was Bret Hart, it was, you know, Roddy Piper, it was Shawn Michaels, then Razor Ramon. Like, that was like the best time, and they put on the best matches, to be very honest with you. So it meant so much back then, whereas now it just changes hands really quickly. We're not really we're not that invested in those second tier belts anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the IC title was like a stepping stone, wasn't it? Not even a stepping stone. It kind of was, but it's like you're on the path towards greatness.
Yeah,
but
you
now
knew.
It just means it just doesn't mean anything. Kind of the same as King of the Ring. If someone won King of the Ring, it's like, okay, they're going to get a push most of the time. It didn't always happen, you know. Mabel never got his dues, but that's okay. But now, you know, Xavier's got it. It's like, it's just a token, really, isn't it? It's a nice thing to have. I don't think he's going to get anything off the back of it. He's never going to be world champion.
Unless it's somebody like, for example, like Damian Priest is obviously, like, they've built him up. He's, you know, gone through their system, etc. Right? But then you also have, on the other hand of things, Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, like those guys, they've already been at the top, and they're, you know, on you know, not on their way down necessarily, but, you know, they're not going to be around the world title anymore. So it's like, okay, why are they around this belt? This belt is meant to be building somebody, not for someone who's, you know, on, you know, the over the hill, so to speak, on their career. Not saying that those guys are. Jeff Hardy still has a lot to go, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy's a weird one because he's still so incredibly over with the fans, but sometimes he's in the 24/7 scene. Sometimes he's taken away carrying crosses, unbeaten run before they kick into the curb. I don't know. He's just sort of there as he's always going to put on a good match. The fans always love him, but it's probably consistent. You know, he's never going to win a world title. He might get a US title or something like that, but
no.
Yeah. Damian Priest, I like. She's like one of those guys who gets over in spite of the weird stuff that they give him, like zombie matches and shit like this.
Whereas if you look at the United States title in 85-86, you had Tully Blanchard beat by Magnetier, who was going to be the next world champion. He was probably going to beat Flair for the title in 86-87. And then you had Nikita, who was always like on the next step up. He headlined Starrcade 86 against Flair as babyface, and he's probably going to go on to the next possible world champ. But yeah, the trick was never pulled. But it was, I'm with you. When I was a kid, if you were the Intercontinental Champion, in my head, that was a stepping stone to greatness. In my proper fandom years, 97, 98, 99, The Rock, Triple H, they both became world champions after good reigns as Intercontinental Champion as well. And before that, you had what? Like Ken Shamrock and Farouk, Ahmed Johnson. They were all kind of pigeonholed as possible next world champions if they got over. But they didn't because they couldn't talk.
They would just stay where they were.
Stone Cold beat Owen Hart for the world title for the champion at SummerSlam 97.
Yes.
If you can talk,
I just assume you're right.
I am right.
We just have to assume
it was in New Jersey. I think it was at the not the Rosemont Horizon, Nassau Coliseum,
which is on Long Island.
Nassau Coliseum.
MJF territory.
Bret Hart beat Undertaker after Shawn Michaels with that chair shot. Great show, by the way. Great show. We'll cover it next year. When you get more time as an adult, JJ.
I don't really have much time for the next 18 years, to be honest.
Having said that, I'm going to say I probably have a 8-month-old child by the that's quite
I was going to say,
terrifying.
yours time is dwindling too. So
I mean, Lissy, you might have announcements too by then, you know?
No, sir. No, sir.
I think you'll find, no. I'm the cool aunt. I play my role very well.
The cool single aunt who just travels and gives bomb gifts.
Single?
Sorry, like you know what I mean? Like, that's single, like,
not married.
I just got like the dirtiest look too. You know what I mean? Like, that's always been my
Y'all unattached or what's?
Shut up. You're making it worse.
I mean, you can make it official on the podcast. It's fine.
No.
Like if you're filling in an official form, right, you would tick the box that says single, you know, because you're
single until you're married. Saying. Thank you, JJ. JJ's always here.
I mean, I feel the quit in the background here, just making you cocktails, going, "What's that? Single? Okay."
Yeah, I got.
Have another mimosa, darling. That's fine. You get out of my way. Get out the shot. Get out the queen shot right here.
I'm just not making eye contact for like the next hour. No big deal.
I'm so glad it's like we're not filming on Monday because otherwise we'd have to. JJ, did you watch any of Raw last night?
Oh.
Sir, it is Monday.
Is it? All right. I've been in ICU every day for the past 3 weeks. It doesn't count. Okay.
Send help. Send help.
Every day has been the same.
I think Raw started like 15 minutes ago, so is that right?
Yeah, it's just started.
Do you want to get back and watch?
They're halfway through the opening promo, I guess.
So Big E's presumably out, right?
No, I don't know what's
happening. Welcome to Monday Night Raw.
Who's playing? The Steelers are playing, guys. I don't know what's going on in wrestling right now.
Steelers. Yeah.
Because the Steelers are playing, guys.
Is that good?
Anyway, should we wrap this up? Because like we're just rambling on here.
I know.
It's 2 a.m.
Trying to embarrass Lissy.
I'm gonna go sleep. I've got you making around the morning. You've got kids to get to school.
I know, it's late for you guys.
We're gonna tell the viewers what we're doing next, or?
Yeah, go ahead, JJ.
I don't know. You tell me. I come up with a schedule, and then you go.
Nobody's watching. I don't know. While watching up there, I'll find a Mid-Atlantic episode from 85 or 86 or 87. That's quite good. Nobody wants to watch anything from the 90s. It's shit. It's pointless. The 80s were the best time to be a pro wrestling fan. I will find you the good episodes.
All right, wrap it up. Plug your shit. Let's go to bed.
You are welcome. JJ, get a new hoodie for next week. Lissy, your boyfriend's called Quinton. He's welcomed on the podcast anytime. And on that note, 7 people watch this. You're fine. JJ, pleasure as always. Lissy, you're the star of the show. We are very grateful for you to be on here because otherwise people wouldn't watch. So yeah, you are Shawn Michaels. He's Triple H. I'm Rick Rude. He's China. And on that note, until next week, goodbye. Ta-ta from him. Ta-ta from me. Bye.